Greetings one and all, and welcome to your first Espresso shot of confidence for 2024. I'm your host, the Master of Awesomeness, Ashley Griffiths. And let's start with a question. What do you think about AI? What do you think about the world that we live in right now? We're spending more and more time online, working remotely, living, breathing, interacting in the matrix. It's challenging, isn't it? Always having to be on, following the latest trends, attempting to go viral, attempting to gain business, attempting to stand out in the sea of sameness. Or not. Maybe you find the whole thing overwhelming and you hide in the shadows. The fear of judgment, the fear of failure, the fear that you might get trolled, called out, or ripped apart by some keyboard warrior somewhere is too much. It creates too much friction for you to show up. I get it. Totally get it. In September of last year, I downed tools. I deleted the social media apps off my phone. I moved away from the online world because I simply could not deal with being in the matrix all the time. I realized days were passing me by without me actually leaving the house. Sometimes not even washing. Because it was like, well, I'm not going anywhere, so what's the point? And a lot of the time when I was online, I realized I was just constantly doom scrolling, wanting people to look at me, notice me, reach out to gain my support. And it's very easy to lose yourself. Very easy to go down that path. One solution that is very much in the world right now is to use AI. Use that to create your posts in ChatGPT. Or you can turn your face into something that wouldn't look out of place in an art gallery. You get to airbrush out your quirks, your laughter lines. You. All in search for this perfection, this acceptance of what is deemed to be beautiful, successful, worthy in our online times. Then you've got videos where you can literally create online avatars of yourself or use someone in your place. And these videos have zero semblance of personality, originality, humanness. It's something that totally baffles me, really, when you think about it. We're humans, and humans thrive on human-to-human connection. But the barriers to that connection are getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger every day. As we do home working, remote working, hybrid working, spend our times on online social networks, we're losing the opportunity to spend more real time with humans. And I believe this can have negative impacts in so many different ways. You know, the more that we use this technology, I believe, the less we're being creative. The more that we feel like you need to put on a beauty filter or airbrush your face or turn your face into a Viking or whatever bloody trend is going on at the moment, that takes a bit of you away. I don't get to see you. I don't get to really get a sense of who you are. Now, recently, I put a post on LinkedIn about this where I just put a picture of my face. It was a close-up. It revealed my wrinkles, my laughter lines, my boldness, my slightly wonky teeth. And I entitled this post, I love my face. And I do. It's me, like if I was to see you in real life, for example, I mean, what am I meant to do? I mean, walk around with a unicorn hat on or something, or a mask or something over my face. It's like, look, I'm young, really. But I'm not. Well, I'm young at heart, but ultimately I'm a 44-year-old man who's lived quite a bit, who spent a lot of his youth frowning, and that's left its marks across my forehead. The way I look at it, when I look at lines on my face, I mean, every one of them has got a story to tell. The laughter lines bring back fond memories of laughs and jokes and experiences with people on my travels around the world. Even the marks caused by the excessive frowning shows me that where I was and where I am now, there's absolutely no way that I would trade in these lines and the stories that they tell. And I like to share those stories with people when I go online, when I'm offline, when I'm working with students, when I'm working with coaching clients. I like to share those things with people. But yet, so many people feel pressurized to show up in a certain way because it somehow makes them look more attractive or makes them seem more successful, or this is the definition and this is how you should look if you are trying to persuade people you are a certain thing. But ultimately it's fake. And that fake will cause isolation. It will cause disconnection. Because imagine, and I've talked about this on the show before, you're following someone on social media and you think, wow, look at them. They're amazing. They got their life together. They seem so, they figured it out. They got the keys to the kingdom. They're doing so well in life. And my God, look at their skin. They look fantastic. I wish I looked like that. I wish I was as successful as that. So you followed them. You follow their tips. You follow their hacks. And eventually you think, you know what? They've got this offer. I might actually go and do that with them. So you'd go off and get involved with them and get on one of their programs, or you get on a call with them. And when you get on a call with them, they're not airbrushed. Their skin isn't immaculate. Their hair isn't all in one place. And they're decidedly all over the place. There's this measure of anxiety there. And they're not as confident as you thought they might be. And that causes a disconnect. Because the online world sells us this myth that people are always happy, always got their shit together, always got things ticking along nicely, as if it's this real nice, smooth, linear journey of life. Well, life just simply isn't like that. There's always yin to the yang, light to the dark. Always. And we lose that nuance when we go online. Because everybody feels this pressure to show this goddamn highlight reel about how their life is amazing. It's great. Nothing's going wrong here. Nothing to see. Look at me. I'm so successful. I've got all these clients. But we don't see the whole story. Maybe we don't even want to see the whole story, but we never do. And then because you're seeing these highlight reels, you're seeing all this superficial stuff, that puts pressure on you to deliver the same thing, to show up at the same level. You end up setting these unattainable, unrealistic targets for you that maybe have absolutely no semblance to what you actually want to achieve in life. And this is the online world, right? It's absolute nuts. When you think about it, You spend hours and hours on Insta, on LinkedIn, whatever platform it is, chasing your goddamn tail because some guru told you if you show up and do exactly what they said, you'll get loads and loads of incoming leads. So you end up just becoming effectively a sheep or looking like one of those little minion dudes. You don't stand out. And the reason for that is because you are not being yourself. You're being fake. You are putting a barrier between you and the people you want to talk to. I know it's almost like a cliche now in the online world to talk about authenticity. And I know it gets ridiculed a bit when you get unicorns and pixies talking about authenticity and personal branding and all of that. But ultimately, that is what makes that connection. Believing that that person is real. That person gets it. And yesterday I met up with a guy I've been connected with online for some time. And it was just so refreshing. We both said to each other during the call, it's like, so glad that we finally got on this call. I'm so glad that you're exactly how I thought you would be, based on what I saw of you in your videos, in your posts. And that's the power right there of just not feeling like you should show up in a certain way and actually showing up as you, speaking in your voice, your accent, demonstrating your quirks, your personality, your passion, whatever that means for you. Showing up, owning it, absolutely owning who you are. Instead of feeling like, well, it's not good enough, people might judge me. No, I've got to do this because the influencer said it, didn't he? Oh, and if I don't do it like that, I won't get hundreds of likes. And oh God, if I do show up as myself and I don't get hundreds of likes, then oh my God, I'm a failure. That narrative is so limiting. And ultimately, it denies you, your people, your tribe, to build a connection with you that will have so much more meaning than all that superficial fluff you have to scroll through every single day with people doing guru and LinkedIn worshipping. Be the difference. Shine the light. Go first for your people. Yes, I know it can be scary. It really is. You know, I've got one of my biggest crooks is it can be scary. It really can. And I get that. Believe me, you know, if you've seen any of my stuff online, you may be surprised to know how triggering I find putting content out. Because there is a very real fear there. Because I've had to deal with my fear of rejection. And social media, my God, it's like that's on steroids. But ultimately, a lot of that stuff doesn't have anything to do with you. You're kind of at the mercy a little bit of things you can't control. An algorithm. But you don't know on any one given day whether your post will be seen by many people or not. There's no way of telling that. But there is one thing you can control with that. And that's getting clear on your message, knowing who you're speaking to, and sending that message out with love. Thank you. You have full control over that. Full control. You don't have control over how many people will see it. You don't have control over whether the algorithm will deem it worthy. But you do have control over your energy and what energy you put out into the world. Believe me when I say this, when people deliver stuff authentically, they show up as themselves and they're letting their personality and their quirks and their passion come out. That infuses the content with an energy that's magnetic, and it does pull people in. It might be one, it might be two, it might be 30, it might be 100. But it does pull people in. And over time, you just build that trust. And I just don't feel you get that trust if you're hiding behind filters. If you're hiding behind a ghostwriter, as ChatGPT, using technology to connect with people. Think about it. It's a social network. There's a key word there. Social and networking. We're not talking about a computer network. We're talking about a human network. An ability to connect with other humans. Humans you feel aligned with. Humans that light you up. Humans you would like to work with, collaborate with, hire, or be hired by. But every time you don't show up, every time you use some goddamn technology, I believe you're putting a barrier in the way. Every time you use loads of filters, you put a barrier because people start questioning, is this person for real? Has this person got AI writing their content? And people are thinking this right now. Believe me with that. It's the same if you just rely non-stop on the same posts that you feel comfortable with. Like, I'm really comfortable doing text posts. And you just do text posts. My question to you regarding that is, do the type of people that you want to work with enjoy reading text posts? Or do they prefer watching video? Do they prefer more colorful visual elements? Do you even know? Because if you're just relying on what you think they want, again, that creates a barrier to connection. And again, if you're just not throwing any personality into that as well, people just scroll on by. They're not going to engage with what you've got to say because it won't resonate. It will give them no compelling reason to trust you. And they'll go and work with one of your competitors. It's as simple as that. And I just want to reflect on time as well, We live in this world where we don't have any time, where we're too busy being busy. We see this a lot, well, I ain't got time to write posts, I ain't got time to do videos, I ain't got time to do any of that. So I'll use AI. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll use AI. That's exactly what I'll do. I'm just going to use AI. I'll write the post, bang, done, sorted. Post ghost, sorted. But it isn't you, is it? But every time you do that, you're not inserting yourself into that. And you're certainly not being creative. And that's one of the things you lose when you just rely on these quick fix, hack tech things. You lose your creativity. You lose your opportunity to grow into a new skill that you may actually enjoy and have a propensity for. I always share the story about my video journey. I never planned to do videos. I found videos cringe. I hated them. And I certainly hated the sound of my voice on a camera, on a microphone. But because of COVID, really, and because I thought, you know what, I need a different medium, I gave it a go, and I hated it to start with. But the more I did it, the more confidence I got. And in the end, I found out, actually, this is a lot of fun. I enjoy doing this. This isn't a chore. This is brilliant. I'm going to do more of it. And you get to learn new skills. You get to push yourself. You get to dance outside of your comfort zone. And you simply don't get that if you just press a couple of fucking buttons. You just don't. It saddens me sometimes when I look at this and see people just taking these goddamn shortcuts, thinking, well, I can do 100 pieces of content just by pressing a couple of buttons. Students thinking, I'll just do an essay, I'll just press a couple of buttons. What do you learn from that? What do you gain from that? You get nothing because people end up seeing it and calling you out because you've got bots doing your stuff for you. Again, it causes barriers. Your job as a business owner, your job as a person is to remove those barriers and create connections. And the best way to do that is by showing up as you. You don't need to have a Pulitzer Prize behind you, an Oscar behind you to create meaningful content. I'm recording in my bedroom. with basic equipment, and it's good enough because I'm all about connection, making connections with my peeps, talking to them, sharing stories. And that is what I highly recommend that you do. Stop hiding. Stop thinking you have to be a certain thing. Throw all those shoulds in the bin. Think about who it is you're wanting to talk to. What is it that you want to say? What is it you want to achieve? What do you gain by showing up? What is possible by showing up? What do you gain by showing up? What is possible when you do? Who do you get to meet? Who do you get to talk to? Where can you take that? What confidence can you grow by doing a video? As you, no filters, no portraying yourself as something you're not. You, unfiltered, raw, real. What can getting confident at doing that, what can that give you? How can it support you in your business and your life? I can tell you for me, for personal experience, getting confident on video has helped me in so many ways. It helped me overcome social anxiety. It helped me talk more out and about. It helped me go to networking events and pitch my business, do public speaking, and host live workshops without freaking out. It gave me a lot more confidence in myself, in my presentation abilities, and I've fallen in love with my voice. Not bad considering I used to think I sounded like a zombie. Now I love hearing my voice, you know. I've had lots of practice. When you edit lots of videos or podcasts, you get used to hearing your voice. But I wasn't judging myself anymore. I wasn't sat there judging, this is how I look, or you sound like a zombie. There was a lot more love directed inwards. And this is very powerful because ultimately we're always our harshest critics. When I talk to clients, people online, they always say they're not going to show up because they're worried about how they'll be perceived, how they look, how they sound, and they get super hypercritical of that. And it acts as a massive block. But the thing is, no one gives a toss about that, except maybe you and your ego. Social media, there's just so much information there. No one's got the time to even notice what your voice sounds like, or whether your freckles are not quite even on each cheek. No one cares. No one cares about that. It's your message that matters. That's the most important thing. So I encourage you to share it, and I encourage you to do it authentically, using videos, using your creativity. Because ultimately, as Einstein said, creativity is intelligence having fun. So have fun. Honestly, bring the fun to your content, to showing up, and bring the real. Bring you, and the world will thank you for it. I'm going to thank you for it. And on that note, it's time for this week's Espresso shot of confidence. Keep things real. Your people don't need another influencer. They need you. Showing up as you, shining a light outwards to them. Letting them know that you get it, that you're there, that you're owning your personality, your passion, your quirks. You're completely owning this. The people are ready to see it, hear it, know it. They're not mind readers. So show up for them. They're waiting. And believe me, when you take that step, a whole world of possibilities open. Infinite possibilities. And what are you going to do with them? Thank you as always for listening and watching wherever you are in the universe. Please subscribe wherever you are listening and watching this to get notifications of when the next episodes drop. And right now, as always, it's time to ride off into the sunset. So don't forget to be awesome.